Sometimes the water comes out very contaminated. It comes out sandy. Sometimes it comes out with a terrible smell. I don't know why, but we always have problems with the water. This is what one woman told me when I asked her about water quality in Qom, an Indigenous Qom community in Formosa, Argentina. The Qom are traditionally nomadic or semi-nomadic hunter-gatherers, although many have migrated to urban or peri-urban centers like Qom. In my first project to get to know this community, I found that environmental contamination was an important issue. I then designed a project with 2 stages to investigate this problem. In the first stage, I interviewed people, and I learned that water quality was a frequent issue. Most people talked about how their water sometimes had a bad odor or taste, or it comes out brown, as you can see in the picture from one interview on the top right. People also talked about how each household must set up a rubber hose to run from the water supply to their house, which you can also see in the picture. And they explained how these hoses often break, causing additional issues with the water quality. In the second stage, I measured what endocrine disruptors were in the water. Endocrine disruptors are a type of chemical that can be really useful. They make plastics durable, for example. But they also have a shape that tricks the body into thinking that they are something the body has made itself. In the figure on the bottom right, you can see how one endocrine disruptor, the purple diamonds, can mimic hormones in the body, which are the green diamonds. This mimicry allows the endocrine disruptor to bind to the hormone's receptor and disrupt the functions of hormones in the body, which can then affect people's health. In this second stage, I collected urine and water samples. We then analyzed the samples in a lab using a novel approach called non-targeted metabolomics to measure hundreds of environmental exposures and biological markers. Compared to most studies that just look at a few predetermined exposures and markers, this approach allowed me to build a really broad understanding of what was in the water and how it was affecting people's health. From this analysis, I found that the water contained many different endocrine disruptors. For example, it had chemicals that are used in the manufacture of rubber hoses, which probably entered the water from the rubber hoses people use to connect to the water supply. Those endocrine disruptors were associated with biological changes, such as inflammation, which has been shown to influence a number of health outcomes, like heart disease and cancer. I found similar results with other environmental exposures, including a type of pesticide. In this project, the interviews revealed structural issues to water access in the community, while the quantitative data measured what exposures were in the water. These 2 stages show how qualitative and quantitative data can complement each other to generate evidence that can be used to enact change, an approach that can be applied widely when studying environmental exposures. My next step is to return the results back to the larger community for feedback. Lastly, I will craft reports for local government representatives, who I hope will advocate for changes to reduce the community's exposure and improve people's health.